Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Hi there, it's Patrick. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We have a great interview on tap today with Joe and the crew from Silver Linings in Colorado Springs, Adam and Jason. These two men are down in the Springs building up their community, supporting their constituents, supporting those that are struggling. This is such an important topic that we have decided to bring it to you on Thanksgiving. It's the time we sit and reflect about the benefits and many blessings we have. Jason and Adam are being the blessings for those that are less fortunate than them. So please enjoy this interview with Joe, Jason, and Adam about the great work this duo is doing down in Colorado Springs at Silver Linings. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and please enjoy.
It was about 9 months ago that I get a phone call, and he goes, "Hey Joe, this is Adam." Now, I've known Adam, I think 20 years, maybe a little longer than that. And Adam, man, he's such a good guy. But he had a tough patch. He had a tough patch in his life. He had what I call rear view mirror. And he found the Lord. So he called me up and he's like, "Hey, listen, I just want you to know that I appreciate you." I'll let him tell the story. But I was in shock. I was like, listen, I was in the middle of a meeting and I was in shock with the call, and I was like, "I'll call you back." Well, I didn't call him back for a couple months. But I did call him back, but I didn't call him back immediately because frankly, I got busy. But in the middle of all that, I connected with him on Facebook, started watching some of the stuff he was doing. And man, I was just really impressed with what he was able to accomplish. And you guys know that I work in the Dream Center, and I love mentoring people back into a place where men can break off the rearview mirror. But I built this brotherhood group, and this brotherhood group's about bringing brothers together from all walks of life and see if we can be our brother's keeper. In other words, how do we take care of each other? How do we be of service to each other? How do we be there to just take care of things? So Adam invited some of the guys that works. He has a recovery center now that he works to, guys that get out of prison or guys that are on the street, and just tries to give them an upper hand. And it's all based on the foundations of Jesus. And I met these guys. Man, I was out of town the first meeting that they came to. I was driving with chickens for my friend. And we had a brotherhood meeting. And they show up and they told their stories. I'm going to let them tell their stories to you. But you could just feel it. You could just feel that these are just great men. And so I'm going to take the time. I'm going to walk through some stuff with these men. And I'll let them tell the story. And then I got to meet another young man on Saturday. We were out helping Dave. And we had to move a hot tub. And I basically asked, I was like, "Listen, brothers, I need help. We had this hot tub from one of our brothers to another brother's place, and I want Dave to be comfortable, all the things that he's going through." And I had a podcast that I do on Saturday. I had this special reveal that we were doing with Dominion, and he just said, "Don't worry about it. I'm going to show up. I'll handle it. Just send me the address." So I did. I ended up going over there. We helped. Thank goodness we had all of us, because this is like a 1,000-pound hot tub. But they showed up and they spent their entire day in service to someone they didn't even know. Didn't know anything about them. So I just want you to know that I have never felt so alive as I do today, yet so disappointed and disgusted by what we have in our leadership. And I look at it and I'm like, man, we have got to start standing together in this. We've got to find a way to bridge the gap between people without judgment. I mean, obviously evil's evil, right? But there's just something that happens when you can come together and you can support each other. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot more time. I don't, is he on or no? What's up, my brothers from another mother?
What's up, Joe?
How you guys doing?
Well, about to cry. I don't feel like we're worthy of that introduction, but thank you.
No pressure.
No pressure.
This is your 1 year anniversary of Silver Linings.
We got the T-shirt to prove it.
All right, first, you got to introduce each other to the audience. Please say hello. Say hi.
Thanks for having us, Joe. My name's Adam Alexander, and I'm a soldier for Christ, and I'm blessed enough to be the owner of Silver Linings Recovery and Halo Reentry. And anything else I am is because of him.
Hi, my name's Jason Newman. I work for him. This dude right here happens to be my friend and my boss. Recently out of prison, and just thankful and glad that I got Jesus in my life. Good friends.
I look at Jason, by the way, and I got to tell you guys something. I mean, I love Adam. Jason, whole other level, man. This guy is, he just is such a good guy. I want you to tell a little bit of your story, Jason. I don't want you to spend too much time in that rearview mirror, but I want you to tell the story because when I met you, I get these feelings about people. I do. And you came to my office, and we went to a game. That was pretty awesome. Bucket list, right? And I was just amazed. I was amazed. So, Jason, I feel like I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
A little bit.
And you're only talking to a couple 100,000 people. So I need you to talk to those couple 100,000 people. I want you to tell them, about you. I want you to understand that people they're not judging you, brother. This is your chance to be seen and to be heard. And you'll get lots of these chances. Cause I might just have you, like when you walk in my office, I might be like, Jason, you want to go on the show with me? Like I did with Jake yesterday. So, all right, floor's yours, brother.
Well, my childhood was like anybody else's. I had loving parents. They were divorced, but I had to pick the wrong choice in friends, and peer pressure's big deal where I was from. Long story short, I ended up going to juvenile prison a couple times in the 80s, stealing cars. Got out. I was emancipated. And not long after that, after I was emancipated at 16, I started really heavy into getting high and stealing and robbing folks. And then it ended up one night, I killed somebody. This somebody, in my humble opinion, deserved it, but that's something that I got to come to terms with, Jesus with, something I battle with daily. The guy that I killed was a sex offender, and I went to prison for it. I did 34 years, 4 months, and 3 weeks. 6 months ago, I got out. I was sleeping on an air mattress in my buddy's house, not only on an air mattress, but in his infant daughter's room. And every day since then has just been a blessing, man. No matter how messed up it was yesterday or the day before, every day I wake up is a win. And then I got real lucky, and I was introduced to Joe through Country, Adam. And
we can call him Big Country.
Yeah, Big Country. And that was the abridged version. That's about it.
But your life started to change in prison.
Oh yeah.
You had to deal with this knucklehead next to you.
Yeah. We met in
Adam,
prison.
Adam, tell your story. I got more questions for you, Jason. Look, this is a
Tell
big
my story
deal.
how I met him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just gotten out of CSP, which is Colorado's version of AdSeg. And he was in I think you were in 4 Mile and you had just messed up and got to Centennial.
Mm-hmm.
And he was coming out of the hole. He went to the same prison that I went to. He came into my pod. And here's this, freaking Sasquatch, huge dude, and it's on me to check this guy's paperwork. You know what I mean? Because we don't want. Look, there is honor among thieves. I promise you. And we don't like to spend company with sex offenders and people like that, of that ilk. But he came in, and it's on me to check this guy's paperwork. He said, no problem. But secretly, I was like, I hope this dude's legit, man, because, you know what I mean? You're going to have to send 3-4 people after him. And believe me, I wasn't the one that went and checked his paperwork. I sent somebody else. But no, man, we met like, what was it? 4 years? Something. How long?
Yeah, about 4.
Yep. And we hit it off. We were tight. We were buddies. I went to a different prison. We kind of fell off of writing. We don't really write. And my parole plan fell through. Many of them. And so I called Country one day, and he just said, no problem. And it hasn't been a problem. You know what I mean? He saved my life. I don't know what I'd be doing if I wouldn't have had him in Silver Linings, but I know I wouldn't be doing as good as I'm doing now.
So let me Adam, let's go back. Let's go back in time. I've known you for 20 years ish, I would say. How old is Caitlin? 34.
33.
You'll be 34 this year.
Yeah, 34 on Christmas.
Yes. Yeah, 34. So she was 15, 20
13.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was moving and shaking back then.
Mm-hmm.
And you are my brother's ex-wife's ex-husband.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's accurate.
Pretty good.
That was good.
And you hit some rough patches. We fell out of favor with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
By no fault of your own, for sure. And you're missing a huge part of that story that tells a lot about who you are, Joe. My then wife, Caitlin's mother, your brother's ex-wife, we had gotten a call that her and her father were going through some things. And he had full custody. And Billy Joe said, that's my ex-wife, let's call Joe. He could fix this. And I said, who is Joe? She said, it's my ex-husband's brother. And I'm like, that's who we're calling? And she said, yeah. It's kind of dealership. And you'll know when you meet him. And we came to your office. And it was instant embrace. He said, well, this has got to change right now. And I think your attorney's name at that time was Mark. And within, 15 minutes, he called Mark in and said, hey, Mark, I don't know what you got going on for me, but stop all that and go and get Caitlin from there and put her here. And he did. Immediately. not only that, as that was happening, we were living in the Springs. You were living in Parker. Your dealership was in Denver, and you said, "Well, I just want you guys closer." And we was like, "Well, we live in the Springs," and you said, "Well, I can fix that. I'm just going to go buy you a house. I want y'all close to me." And you bought us a brand spanking new house to put your niece and us in, and said, "Just go. Give me what you can, and if it's nothing, then it's nothing. I don't care." And treated all of us like family straight out the gate. And you didn't know me from Adam, and that's a huge deal.
It's rare.
That's a huge deal, you know. And you've never done anything different. You were moving and shaking at that time.
Yeah, for a little bit.
A little bit. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't want that story not shared because it's just indicative of who you are. Yeah. Thank you. It changed my life.
But you've gone through your ups and downs. I don't usually talk about the stuff I did because I think that it's, you know, it's what you should do, right? Well, I am my brother's keeper. I am my niece's keeper. And, you know, you called me, I think 7 months ago.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And I was busy. And, but I waited a little while to call you back. 2 reasons. One of which I lost your number. So I had to get it again because the time goes by and it rolls through your email. But we sat and talked, and I put a post up there that talked about the brotherhood. And we talked on the phone, and I was just incredibly, I could feel it. I could feel the difference in what you've done in your life, and just not just your life, but the life of the men that you surround yourself with, and ladies as well. But I'll just say the men have a tendency to get off the unbeaten path. And so we had this brotherhood meeting, and your parole officer came with you. So here's your brother in Christ, who was your parole officer, who works with you now, right? And I'm telling this story for you because I'm so amazed by the energy that you've created. This you know, I call it godliness, and this is actually the most fun shows that I have because I can start talking about the redemptive quality, and I can sit here and listen to Jason. I'm like, yes, and it's a real yes. It's like, man, that's my brother, right? Let's go. Let's do this stuff. At the same time, we got to calm Jason down because he's got 34 years of junk in his trunk, right? But just the fact that you've been able to get out, you made a decision in prison that you were going to do something, and you're like, I'm going to go do this, and you did it. It's been a year. You have a year anniversary of Silver Linings, and tell everyone what Silver Linings is.
So Silver Linings Recovery is addiction counseling, homeless outreach, resources, and anything that we can think of that we can fit in that basket that's going to help people. It's a liquid organization that provides stability for people that have never had it, leadership for people that have never had it, guidance for people that have never had it, and resources for people that can't get it. A place to go and be safe and have the freedom to focus on something else other than the crap that's going on in the world, so they can focus on what's important, God first and everything else second. And you know, we're busy all the time and we're doing all these things, but what makes that organization successful is that it's God first and everything else second. And what we've learned is that as soon as you do that, everything else is so easy. It you know, it takes care of itself. You know, in Matthew, it talks about the birds and, you know, don't worry about tomorrow. And and what we realize is that the moment that you hold that, the moment that you believe that, and the moment that you harvest that, it's just true. You know, Jason, and just about everybody else that I know started out with a troubled past and then took that past and made choices on our own based on what we were taught, and learned a lot of lessons the hard way. But the moment that we accepted God, the whole time that he was looking for us, everything else was taken care of. I don't mean we got to go up to work and do our day to day and grind. But what it does mean is that we don't have to worry about it. If something in the world came to take everything from me today, I've got no concern. I've got God and God's army behind me. So what do I got to worry about? It's our mission. We're charged with following God's path, and we've each got a piece of it to walk. And I'm fortunate enough to hopefully be walking it the right way now, because I spent a long time not. And the people that walk beside me do the same thing. And that path consists of do for others first. Nothing else matters after that. If you're doing for others first, and everything else is taken care of. We preach that inside my immediate family and all the way out to every person that I meet, is that if you're always trying to make someone else's day better, someone else's life easier, and they're doing the same for you, then we're going to be okay.
I would agree with that. In a lot of ways, I would definitely agree with that. Let's kind of, Jason, I'm going to ask you some questions. Put you on the spot there a little bit, because I want to address some things that I think are important. People go to prison, and you're basically forgotten. It's like you were never there. You get deleted. You get to live a single life. You wake up, you do the same thing over and over again. You did it for 34 years. You left behind some relationships that you had in prison with people that have been there and will probably die there.
Absolutely.
Is prison a place of rehabilitation? And do they really want to rehabilitate anyone in prison? You have a unique perspective because...
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is no rehab in prison. We're cattle, and they just stack us in there. I mean, we live in a prison-friendly state, and being a convict is a big business in Colorado. They make a lot of money off of us here. But as far as the rehab inside the joint, depending on what prison you're at, some are better than others. But I've been taking the same class since '94. The curriculum never changed, just the name of the class changed, So you're just getting fed the same stuff year after year after year, and it's just people just jump through these hoops to get their certificates so they can show it to their case managers and look good for the parole board.
Did you have any, is there like a institutional trade program with the Bureau of Prisons?
Yeah, there are a few, but you have to be, you have to play nice with other people in prison to get those kinds of jobs.
So it's politics.
For sure.
So there's no, so are you surprised that they're
Civism?
I'm saying ambulance. Recidivism. Are you,
I thought he was having a seizure.
I did too. I was like, what is wrong with me? Okay, so are you surprised that it's nearly 60%?
No, not at all. No. Sometimes I've known a lot of people that just come back to prison because it's easy. Prison is easy. You don't have to be, you don't have to pay your bills. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be an adult. You don't have to be a productive member of society. You don't have to do any of that. You just get to go in, and it's a lot of people, that's all they've ever known too. Hey, I was scared when I was getting ready to get out because I was comfortable in my misery. That's all I knew. It's all I wanted to know. I was good at it, The streets, society, population, whatever you want to call it, man, that scared the shit out of me. Excuse my language. But it was just fear of the whole world had passed me by. It was like I was buried in a time capsule. They dug me up and said, okay, now go live the rest of your life. I was a teenager when I went in, and I just turned 53. I had an issue when I first got out because I was picking up my life where I left off, just as a teenager, and it doesn't work. But no, I just lost my train of thought.
No, it makes. Remember what I said before on the board? If you go in at 21, you come out at 21.
Yep.
Right? And people don't understand that. They don't understand that it doesn't. Time stands still for you when you're in prison because you don't have experiences. You don't have, like, they keep the real world away from you, and then when you get out, they expect you to acclimate to the real world. They treat you like animals, and then when you get out, you expect them to act like responsible adults.
Yeah.
Joe, but there's another part of prison, and not everybody gets it when they're in there. There's lessons in life that I learned in prison that will stick with me forever, that made me a better man. Things that are told to you, but they're not enforced the same way in the world. Starting with your brother's keeper. You make that commitment in there, you will keep that commitment in there for sure, or the consequences are a lot more severe. Don't talk about anybody that ain't in the room. It ain't your business. Stay out of it. There's a lot of lessons that you learn in prison, that if you're looking to learn a lesson, you'll get them. You'll get them, and they'll stick with you different. But that's a low percentage of the environment that's in there are people that are looking to learn.
Well, but you don't. I mean, I think if you turn the environment into a place where people could learn, it'd be easier. I think if you made it easier for faith to be a part of it, I think if you put animals, you integrate animals into the prison system. And look, I'm not telling you. On the other side, I think there are some irredeemable people. I promise you, there were some irredeemable people that you were at the prison with, right?
Yeah.
You have people like that dude's just flat evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was the people that gravitated towards that evil person because they didn't want to be on the wrong side with them, and the people that said, I'm going to stay away from that person, right? There's, just like in real life, right? But there, I don't know. I look at it, I'm looking at it more from the lens of, what you're doing, Adam, is you're creating an environment where people can thrive, raise the glass ceiling, break off the rearview mirror, really give people an opportunity to be men, to be who they are. The other side is that there's not enough of you to go around. There's not enough silver linings, which, I don't want to talk about the incident that occurred, but you have a lot of people that are in even the environment you're in that maybe are not set up to do good.
That's true, unfortunately. And that comes from, I want to give people the opportunity they wouldn't normally get somewhere else. So, and there's get and create. And, I talked about a little bit earlier, everybody has a piece on the board. And one of my responsibilities is to create. Because of the choices that I've made in life, it's not as easy for me to go get the opportunity from somebody else, but it's much easier for me to create that for me and then share that with others, but not leave them in that spot. Silver linings, as it pertains to the people that work there, and I say this in our meetings all the time, is a jar. And it's everyone's their responsibility to outgrow that container. No matter how big that container is, no matter how much freedom they have to be able to make decisions and grow, their responsibility to this world is to outgrow that container and then create their own. Put people in it and grow the people until they outgrow that container. And our mission is to change the world. It sounds ambitious and a little bit ridiculous, maybe cheesy, I don't know. I know that it won't be in my lifetime or my children's lifetime or my grandchildren's lifetime, but I do believe that the footprints that we lay today, the problems that we're trying to solve right now, we can do that. And just because we won't see it while we're still here on this earth, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. That means that we're laying the foundation for something greater. People that come from the background similar to ours are traditionally short-sighted. It's the quick high, the quick fix, the quick money. And that's not what we're wanting to do, because that's what's damaged this society. It's immediate gratification and me. You know, as opposed to creating a foundation for something that's going to make this world a better place and doing it for somebody else. You read the Bible, and I don't think it ever says anything about Jesus' house. You can't go to Bethlehem and say, well, that's where it was. Jesus could have house, car, women, money, drugs, whatever you want, snap right there. If he can make water into wine, he can do all those things. But that's not what he used him for. It was for all of his 33 years. It was for everyone else that's not him. And we're charged with doing the same thing. No matter what we do, we're going to fall short. No matter what we do, we're going to fall short. It just says it in the Bible. It's the answer's right there. Just go do that. And don't worry about you. You'll be taken care of. Don't bring food. Don't bring water. Don't bring provisions. Walk with me and let's go. And we're supposed to do the same thing. We don't always get it right. And I wish I'd have got it right a lot sooner, but I don't regret the lessons that I've had to learn. I regret the things that I've done that have hurt other people, but I don't regret the lessons that I learned because of the mistakes that I made. I embrace them. I'm proud of them. I wear them as a badge of honor, not because I'm proud to have went to prison or proud to be a convict, but because I'm proud to be a godly man. Today was our 1-year anniversary. And we fed 304 people in an hour.
Yeah.
And we didn't feed them ramen noodles.
No.
Or finger sandwiches. We fed them ribs and tacos and candy apples and
cheesecake and
plates and bowls overflowing. And before we did that, we had this huge prayer. And then after we did that, right at the end, the pastor from my church shows up with his crew, and he's like, "Yeah, I just want to come and congratulate you." And it feels good hearing that, but that glory isn't for me at all. That's God's glory. And and as he's in my office and things are kind of wrapping up and people are still congregating outside, I don't know, there's 100 people still there. He said, "Can I pray for you?" I said, "Well, can we just go outside and pray for everybody?" And that's what we did. You know, people, you know, that prayer they got today, and that from me, and that prayer they got from our pastor, that may be the only 2 they get this year. And it meant something to them.
All right. Can we talk about
They come
Michael?
up and they say thank you, and you know, it's natural reaction to say you're welcome. I'm here for you, but that's just that thanks does not belong to me. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to Jason. It doesn't belong to Angel. It doesn't belong to Caitlin. It belongs to God and God only. It's not mine.
You know, we talk about the sacrifices that you make and the suffering that you have. Like, you have to go through suffering. Suffering is just one of those things that you have to go through, and then who you can give that suffering up to, give it up to Jesus, because obviously you can't ever get to the place where you suffer more than he did. But one of the things that, you know, we were together on Saturday. By the way, thank you. David says thank you. And you got to meet Gordon, probably one of my favorite people ever.
Yeah.
That's a good guy.
Mr. Gordon.
Yeah.
Gordon, yeah, he was his first 100 years of his life, he was a accountant, and sold out to Deloitte. Super successful guy, amazing man. Has been he is one of my best friends, and literally he's been there for me in so many ways. But you brought a young man with you. It's not our story to tell, but it is our story to tell right now. This guy was, you found him on the street. Jason, tell us the story. Tell us the story of Michael.
Well, a year ago, he was homeless, strung out on fentanyl, starving. It's sad. I just met the kid myself. He had a rough go, man, and he's so young. He's only 23, just turned 23. And he knows a lot more than he should know as far as being out there and living that kind of life. It's lonely, it's cold, it sucks. Everybody's high, everybody hates you, everybody's stealing from you. It's not a life. And he found a way. Matter of fact, the way was country. And now he works for Silver Linings, and he's doing good. Stumbles here and there, but nobody's perfect. I just stumbled. But no, yeah, he's a good kid, man, and he's learning a lot.
He had a hole in his face when I met him, and I met him at the warming shelter, which in this city, below 19 degrees and below, the city will put out money to different organizations, not ours, to open up churches and allow people to come in and get warm. And that's where I met him. And he had a hole in his face, so much I thought you could see his teeth, and a fentanyl pipe in his hand. The rule at those warming shelters is come one, come all. This one in particular is at the Sanctuary Church. And we're just volunteering there. Just Silver Linings people are just volunteering there to serve food and clean up and do whatever we can do. And he's outside and he's smoking this fentanyl pipe. And one of my guys goes over and takes the fentanyl pipe from me. He comes to me, he says, "Country, this guy outside smoking fentanyl, took his pipe. He's good and pissed off. Can you come out and talk to him?" So I come out and talk to him. And the first thing I see is this hole in his face. And he's this young kid. He looks 19 and he's 23 now. So he was 22, 21. And I'm trying to explain to him, hey, look, I'm here to help you. Let me just talk to you. And he was like, "Look, first off, I'll listen to what you have to say, but not while you're taking my fentanyl pipe. That's not the rules. Give me my pipe back and I'll listen to what you have to say." And I'm like, "If I give you this pipe back, this pipe is going to kill you. I'm giving you the gun, putting it back at your head. This is going to kill you." And he was like, "Don't care. I'm out here freezing to death, and that's the only thing that's going to keep me alive is that fentanyl." I said, "If I give you this pipe back, are you going to listen to me?" He said, "Yeah, I'll listen to you, but I need that pipe back." And I said, "Okay, here's the pipe." Took it, put it in his pocket, and he goes, "Now, what do you have to say?" And I said, "Well, let's go inside and sit down and get warm, get some coffee, and have a conversation." And man, we sat there for 4 hours. At the end of that 4 hours, he handed the fentanyl pipe back. I thanked him for listening. He said he was going to lay down and get some rest. Next day, I see him on the street. "Michael, how you doing?" "I'm good." Because the temperature had warmed up some, not much, not anywhere where we would want to be outside, but they got to put everybody back out. So he's just back out on the street. So I stop and talk to him. He says, "Look, I want to get clean, but then what?" He said, "I can't get in anywhere. No sober living will take me because I'm a young, able male. And these things aren't for me. They expect that I should be able to do it on my own, and I can't, and I don't know what to do. But I'm trying." After that conversation, "Here's my number, man. Just give me a call. Just come see me. I can get you through this." And he doesn't. But what he does do is at that time he had a probation warrant. He turned himself in. It was his way to get off the street. It was God giving him opportunity. And he went into jail, and he got into this program called IRT, which is in CAE, which is in a halfway house. It's a intense rehabilitation therapy, 90-day inpatient program. And by circumstance, the people that run that program ask me to come in and speak to the people in there. So I go in just to give a normal conversation with these gentlemen, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, but don't be offended. I'm meeting the people." And he goes, "Michael." And as soon as he says that, I see him, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Michael!" And he's fat and happy and skin glowing, and he was like, "I'm clean." And I just hugged him. And I start crying. And this is before I start talking to this group of men that are going through a struggle. And at the conclusion of that, I don't like to go in there because I hate to promote Silver Linings because I feel like I'm promoting my business. But I don't want to do that. So I promote this industry. And he says, "I'm getting out of here soon. Can I come see you?" I said, "Absolutely." And before I know it, 90 days had passed, and I walk into my director of operations office, and there he is. He says, "I'm here, country. I got my certifications. I'm doing this." He's like, "I'm scheduled for an interview. I'm scheduled for my second interview." And I said, "Well, good luck at that second interview. I hope I see you." And sure enough, he got that second interview, and he came in, and he's been guns a-blazing. He started out on the street team, which is guys that go out and do direct outreach on the street, on the trails, and everyone knows him because he's so fresh from there. He's such this young face. He sticks out, and him doing that shows the people that are still out there that he knows that he was in the tents and on the trail with. You can do it. You can do it, and not only can you do it, he'll help you, and so will all of us. Our organization works the same way as our family. One person brings you in, we all love you. You got one of us, you got all of us.
But he was on the street for 7 years, right?
Say it again?
He was on the street for 7 years.
7 years. 7 years. 7 years to 22, so 15 to 22. 15 to 22. Abandoned by one because there wasn't anyone left. A baby. A baby. And he is a QBHA certified peer recovery coach right now, and he is so proud to be doing that. He's changing people's lives while changing his own at the same time. He's setting up a future for himself. And he's in the SLR, he's in the container right now, and he is growing quick. And I can't wait for the day that he breaks that container and has one of his own, because that's how we're going to change this. That's how we're going to change the world. That's how there won't be 304 people coming in the building, or tomorrow another 1,000 or whatever it is. It'll be people like Michael Lala or Jason Newman or Caitlin Oltmann or anybody else that's at Silver Linings that go and create their own containers and change these people. When we run out of clients, we'll just go do something else. It's okay. I'll come work for Joe.
Put yourself out of business. Know what they say?
Put yourself out of business. That's the goal.
Put yourself out of business.
Yeah.
You put yourself out of business, and you just go, yeah. You're like, okay, well that was great. Nobody needs me anymore. That's awesome.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that hit me when you go from one life, I always say the difference between you and I is that when I was younger is that you got caught, I didn't. But one of the things that as you start to mature your life and you start to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, as you start to get involved in the part where you start reading scripture and you're like, man, I really don't, it's scary because you're reading it and you're like, I don't want to be that goody two shoe, because you still have this hard exterior. Like, I don't want to be the guy that's that good. It's hard. It's like this transition. You go like, no. I'm going to get to the part where I can say, F it, which is the two words that put men back in that position, put anybody back in that position. Just say it only takes a couple little stumbles and you're right back in it where you were before.
Mm-hmm.
But you're deathly afraid to get back there But you know you're going to go back there. So once you have one stumble, you're like, F it. I'm going there anyway. Because you're afraid to be who you know you can be. Right? And how do we fix it? You know, I'm all for, so I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. I'm all for holding people accountable. People need to go to prison for doing bad shit. Right? Nobody should be a victim. At the same time, how do we fix society to the point where there isn't the haves and the have-nots that are so divided? And this is the problem that I have. This is the struggle that I have in my brain. Like, I look at it and I go, well, I did it. Everybody's like, well, Joe, if you could do it, everyone could do it. That's just not true. The obstacles that I had to overcome in my life in order to get to where I am were immense. Immense. And Jason, you just said something. You're like, I just got done stumbling. Right?
Yeah.
And you just, on this podcast, just looked in the rearview mirror again.
Well, it's an old habit, man, you know? But I'm getting used to not looking, though. It's nice. It's not, it's nice not having to worry about the prison politics anymore. I can just come out here and be me, and by being me, I can help other people like me, you know, get their lives together, man, while I'm getting mine together at the same time. I'm learning just as much, you know?
That's our terminology. That's our prison terminology also that is used in there. Politics. And we're not talking about the Department of Corrections and their political agenda. We're talking about us, the ones wearing green, and the hierarchy and the politics in there, and the code that you're required to follow in there. The longer you're there, and the, you know, that your character is judged on how well you follow the convict code.
Yeah, well put.
And Jason being able to come home, he talked about how he was scared to come home. Well, man, I can only imagine. You know, this gentleman here, this man here, he talks about when we met. I'm a big guy and hard to deal with. That's the truth. I'm 6'4", 330. And we met in maximum security prison. And you got to be at your maximum hard right there. You have to be at your maximum hard. And I'm coming out of the hole. But his requirement, his convict code says, well, that guy looks like me, so we got to go take care of that. No matter what's on the other side of that guy's soul, we're dealing with that. We have to vet him. And he will follow our code or he won't be here. Jason's the kind of guy that if he shows up on one side of the prison, the whole prison knows, and then that prison is under his control. And he spent a good portion of that being able to do that, leading and instructing people to do some pretty nefarious things. Fair?
Fair.
But not at the end. He absolutely still had all the control, but what he used that control for was to change convicts into men. To teach people to be there for one another, not to be against someone else. To teach you lessons that people that didn't have fathers need taught. Convicts into men. And did a good job at it. After I met Jason, I went, it was coming towards the end, and I was going through one of the hardest struggles of my life. I'd been sober for some time now. I'd given my life to God, but I'm in prison. It's not tested. And as you know, when you're doing that, the devil's fighting real hard. So all these things from the world were coming at me, things with my wife and my family. I was coming home to nothing. I paroled to my mother's couch. And that stress box, that telephone on the wall will get you every time. And, not many people will get to experience being, a hardened convict in maximum security prison and then crying on the phone to your mother or your wife. And then that phone call cutting off. And then you go into your convicted murderer gang leader's cell crying about what's going on with your wife, and as opposed to him saying shut up, him talking to you as a brother and as a man and helping walk you through it, even though he's been in prison since he was a kid and didn't get to experience it himself, telling you exactly what you needed to hear, guiding you to where you needed to be, making you a soldier as opposed to a missile. And those are two hugely different things. And so why would I not want to surround myself with people like that? Isn't that the best way to build an army? The world's full of privates. Anybody can be one. But there's a bunch of captains out there that you can surround yourself with, and they will create more captains. They'll create more lieutenants. They'll create more generals, and that's what we want. We want the strongest army in the world. And that army must be for God and nothing else. It has to be first on everyone's list. You can't succeed otherwise. And any level of success that you can attain outside of that, it's empty. It's nothing. It has no value. It has no strength. It has no purpose. It's not your own.
So, what's next for Silver Linings? And look, I do want to say this. We have these 34 brothers. You guys are a part of it, right? We're brothers. You have guys in that group that are worth $100 million, $200 million. They treat you guys any different?
No. Well, matter of fact, they I feel like they treat us better than we should be.
Right, yeah.
They drop off food, drop off stuff to you, try to help you guys out, right?
Non-stop.
The organization?
Non-stop. It's amazing. And whenever I was talking to Jason, Chris, and Jeremy, I was telling them that, the meeting before, I forget the brother's name, and he's an older guy, and he was like, when he was telling his story, it was, one of my claims in life is that every satellite on Mars has my fingerprints on there.
He's the one that I told him we never went to.
We got Joe Oltmann, so that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the room that you're walking into. I'm setting them up. I'm putting the stress on them. I'm like, this is what you're walking into, and they're like, I don't know if we should go. And I'm like, absolutely go, but we will all collectively be the brokest people in the room, that's for sure.
I told him we didn't. I said we didn't go to Mars. He got pissed. He's like, yeah, or we didn't go to the moon. He's like, yes, we did. I was like, no, we didn't.
No. And then we go and we go to the first meeting, and like I said, you were on video hauling chickens. Add that to the resume. Yeah. And we left, and I said, what do you guys think? And they was like, absolutely. We go to the second meeting, and you put in the message, hey, I got the suite. Y'all want to just do this at the suite? And so I looked back in the car, and I was like, hey, Joe's got the suite, the Nuggets game. Y'all want to just go there? And they was like, now? And yeah, so they go in there, and their eyes are just,
who is this guy?
Bucket list all of the way. And we left there, And
I almost got jumped by security for my podcast.
yeah. We're on the car ride home, and Jason texted me, and I said, "Long way, huh?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Absolutely, man." He said, "Absolutely."
That was a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
That was so cool, man.
But it's just indicative of this brotherhood, of this family, uh, and what we want in society. And Joe, you've got this extreme surgical ability to bring people together and enhance their character traits so they got a platform to be able to do that. We're sitting here right now on your podcast.
Yeah.
You create this fraternity, and everything that you've done since I've known your name is bring people together. And you're right, you were a different Joe 20 years ago, spiritually.
Yes, I was.
But even in that part of your spirit, look at what you did. You kidding me?
Well,
You know what I mean? It wasn't to show off.
Yeah.
I'm Joe. I can buy you a house and give you a car and give you a lawyer. You didn't just do that. Caitlin's uncle, Billy Joe's brother, my best friend, rest in peace, Brian Edgar. There's another one. You said, "Hey, your direction is going the wrong way. Let me fix that for you." So I created this business for you, Ancient Ferns. Here is a brand new dually. Here's a Home Depot card and a Lowe's card. Don't worry about paying those bills. Go and do great things. But before you do, go pick up this white-on-white Lincoln from this other dealership, and here's my credit card.
About this.
Take that and go do your worst for the weekend, and then start work on Monday. And he, in my opinion, I think he did a good job. We call it the MIA weekend, the Millionaire in Action weekend, and he did everything. And he shows up on Sunday with a vomit-covered Lincoln, and your credit card gives it back to you, and you laughed it off. Like you laughed it off. And Billy Joe is calling you, "Joe, I can't believe you did that. What do you do? How much do you spend on your card?" You're like, "I don't know. I don't care. Well, I don't know." And I think you spent like 40 grand that weekend. And you just not only did you just laugh it off, you were proud that he did that, and it was go and do great things for yourself. I don't want nothing from it. It wasn't here's this business and here's my piece. It was here's this business and I'll pay the bills. Go do that. That's why and I wanted to wait after I came home. Silver Linings is a year today, but I came home July 11th of 23. And I wanted to, I'm big on showing it now. I wanted to do something in my life. I didn't want to call you and say, "Hey, I've made this change in my life. I've got no evidence of it, but it feels good." I wanted to call you and say, "Hey, I've made this change in my life, and so far, I'm here. And thank you for getting me there. Because if it's not men like you in the world, well, there's these extreme things, and these things that you've done in my life are extreme. These are huge. You won the lottery things. But every lesson, every man that you come across in your life, you give a piece of something, and it's not for you. It's not for return. It's for someone else. And look at who it's made you, brother. Look at who you are.
I just wish I had Jesus back then.
Look at how people feel when they see your face. Look how people's eyes light up when they see your name across the phone. It's Joe.
Yeah, but then there's the other part. I have some people that don't like me either. Hence the fact I have to carry a gun.
If people don't like you, you ain't doing it right. And you got some people that really don't like you.
Yeah.
You don't just carry a gun. You carry a couple of gun stores, and you probably should, which means you're doing so right that people, Devil's got an army too.
Yeah, he does. There's no question.
He sure does.
I do wish if I could go back in time with Brian, I wish I could have done it differently. I wish I would have been harder on him in a different way because, obviously we know how that turned out. So.
Rear view mirrors.
You rear view mirrors. He's using it against me. There you go.
Yeah. Rip it off. Even on this, did he say it to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but listen, I got to tell you something. Jason was at we were at the game, and I can promise you one thing you learned in 34 years, Jason, it's to bury your emotion, except for in your eyes. Nobody can see it except for those people that know how to read it. And we all went through. Jason had a pocket knife that looked like he could open a can with it. What's he going to do? He's going to stab a fly with it, probably give it a little laceration. Right? And they acted like they're like, oh, you have tattoos? Get over here, boy. We're going to take care of you. We're up in the suite. I didn't know he wasn't there. So
They did not see if I was going to that suite.
Jason's like this. We go downstairs, and you just see pissed off in the eyes, Jason. And I'm like, bro, sorry we left you behind. I didn't see you. Because we had like 15 people, 20 people that we took upstairs.
Yeah.
And it took Jason a couple minutes to come down from that. And it was like, he got in the suite and it was all over. He's like, okay, I'm good. Give me a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Somebody give me a cheeseburger. So it just shows you, that it could, and I'll use that as an example. And I said it to you that night. I was like, listen, it's good. Just water off a duck's back. We're sorry we left you there. I didn't see you. I apologize. Right? But the reality of it is that was one of those fuck it moments. Those are one of those things where you look in the rearview mirror quick, you grab a mirror quick, you do all the things, and it doesn't matter how it's going. It's the fact that you had that stumble that wasn't even your fault over basically a tweezer knife, right? And so there's an opportunity to learn from it though, because then we're like, okay, all's good. But I know what it feels like to be stuck in that obstacle. And I think that's the thing that we've got to teach these kids. We got to teach people, this next generation. We got to teach them that we got to be able to problem solve. We got to do it without, going to the fentanyl pipe or going to the liquor store, right? We got to do it so we can literally just love on each other and get to a place where we can also be accountable and accomplish great things through work, in Him, right?
Jason was baptized Sunday.
What?
Jason was baptized. I sent you the video. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
No, it didn't come through.
I
it did not come
him
through.
on Sunday. I baptized Nikki, a friend of mine. I baptized your niece, and then I baptized Jason. And each one, I kept them in the water right behind it.
Extra long.
The video that I sent
Make them suck on water a little bit.
Oh, I kept Jason down long. Water was cold before he went in.
It was boiling.
All right. Hey, I'm sending you this. Oh, it does work now. Okay, hold on a second. Man, I feel like let's go to 112. Hold on.
So you get three. If you're going to 112, it goes Nikki, shows her video, and then me baptize her. Then Caitlin's video, and then me baptize her. And then Jason's video, and then me baptize him. So at our church, you go before and they do, 45-minute conversation, and they condense that down to about a 3-minute video, and it's your testimonial. And that was a big one. And even the pastor said it because Jason's moniker in prison was Satan. And so the pastor being able to say, hey, even Satan got baptized today. And you see, we don't call him that no more. He's been called that for 34 years. Feels weird even saying it now.
It does. Feels weird.
It feels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's not the name that God gave him. God gave him Jason. Man's name is Jason.
I'm looking at it right now. Sorry. I'm going to have to watch them.
That's a big
That's
one.
awesome. Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Caitlin. I know she's sitting in that room behind that camera.
Cheesing.
Yeah.
Cheesing.
All right. How can people follow you? How can people help you? How can people contribute? How can people see? Tell us how to follow you.
So Facebook is where the most information about us is. We have our website, hopehappensslr.com. But we don't have a media department, so I built that website, so forgive me. That one right there. That's on the right. You got my niece Allison and my sister Angel. Angel. So you can see on the far left, being Angel. This past year has put some stress and weight loss on her. She's going to be so mad at me that I said that. And that's her daughter, my niece Angel. Right there. That's our grand opening. That's a year ago when we cut the ribbon. And that is my partner in crime. I can't take.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. I can't take the credit. My job is numbers in the principal's office. We're able to reach as many people as we do because of the skills that God has given her. Angel is unapologetically open, and you can't go anywhere with her because everyone knows her because she goes to talk to everyone. You can't be off because everywhere you go, you will see someone suffering. If you're looking, you'll see it. Sometimes you ain't gotta look that hard, but everywhere you go, she sees it, and she don't care what you're doing. She stops what you're doing, and she goes and makes a connection with person that's in the worst of the worst and changes their lives and shows other people how to do that. We put a lot of pictures on Facebook with the permission of our clients, not to gloat about the things that we do, but to share the information about what they can do. We want people to know everything's here, all the resources, all the tools that are available, and all the ones that we can create. We come up with some new ones together right now today. Are right here. If outside my door there was someone flying a sign, smoking a fentanyl pipe, and was suicidal at the end of their life, covered in feces and urine, right now, what is it, 420? Could have them off the street, into detox, rehab if that next step is necessary, sober living, paid for, food, clothes, paid for. And that's before our services that we provide directly kick in. We provide individual and group counseling sessions. We provide peer recovery coaches, clinicians, qualified behavioral health assistants. But it's difficult for someone to take advantage of the wisdom that's in our office, the amount of life experience that's in our office, if we don't give them a platform to do it. If you're smoking fentanyl and sleeping in a tent, it's real hard to say, well, come in here and talk to Jason. He'll give you some wise words, and then you go back out to that tent and see how it goes for you. We want to provide these resources that are available in the community. We want to combine them and give them to you, and then say, here's a spot where you can listen. There's more, and you can have it whether you listen to me or not. But let me give you this so you've got the freedom to be able to listen. People that want to help, that want to get involved in any way, we're a creative organization. We serve meals all day long, as fast as we can cook them, and as much as we can cook, it's gone. Things like today, we had, if you'd have seen this feast, man, it was probably 100 foot of tables, and every inch of those tables were covered in home cooked, loving meals. Everything. And sometimes that's hard to come by. Sometimes it's pizza from Little Caesars.
Well, the
They're
first thing
happy.
we got to do is we got to fix your link for your donate now link online. It's broken.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I'm not good at
So
that.
so we're gonna have to fix that. So, but they can go to hopehappensslr.com.
Correct.
Okay, it's in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Yes.
I'm gonna have you guys on again, Jason. Next time I'm gonna make you talk more.
All right.
So I'm gonna bring our guests on now, and I'm going to talk again about something we talked about before. We spent a lot of time on it too. But I want to play this first cut. This is from their 1-year anniversary. This is from their Facebook for Silver Linings. Let's play cut 1.
Makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it. God's gonna see you through. Hold your head up. Put a smile on your face. This is another test. Here's one last always. So get ready. Get ready for your blessing. For your blessing. Get ready. Get ready for your miracle. For your miracle. Get ready for your blessing. For your blessing. Get ready. Get ready for your miracle. For your miracle. I know you've been hurting deep down inside. Let me encourage you, it's gonna be all right.
It's pretty cool. This is another cut from every Friday at Silver Linings. You're saying, Joe, why in the middle of all the politics and stuff are you bringing this up? You know, I had a meeting today about flock cameras. We're starting a new organization that basically is it's freedom from tracking, right? Flock cameras are used all over the country. They're used to basically invade the privacy of every American. Several times in the last couple of weeks, there's been false positives that were used the flock camera to arrest people, and it was guilty till proven innocent. And they're like, no, I got you on the flock cameras. So I want you to see what they do every Friday at Silver Linings. We have got to do stuff that brings us together and transcends these things that we talk about on the football team. I don't have a team. I have people. So play it.
Work hard. Be somebody. And be something more than what you see in the mirror. Let the world be your mirror. Don't let them judge you.
That's it, baby.
Silver lining.
That's it, baby.
We're out here helping people.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for it.
All right, guys. Round 2.
Round 2.
Bring them on. Jason looks like he's straight out of Abercrombie and Finch, man. I'm a little jealous, actually. He's like, look at him.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
I was like this. I was like, what's up?
Abercrombie and Finch come a long way.
All right.
Anything interesting happened this week? The last time you were on?
Oh. Every day.
Yeah.
Interesting day at Silver Linings, but man, those clips that you were playing, you know, we get this internal perspective. There's the day-to-day of trying to make things like that happen, and the brief moments that we get to, for me, being able to come out of the office and experience it. So days like our 1 year, the times that I get the chance to go out and see the coffee and conversation, it just chokes me up. You see in that first clip that you played, that was from our 1 year celebration, and the line was around the building. And whenever we serve food like that, you know, we serve food every day, but that was a huge feast. That was something, you know, different and special. we do barbecues and whatnot, is the line seems to stretch forever and never gets shorter no matter how long it goes.
Yeah.
It's from the front door to the back door, it's probably 150 feet, and it was lined with tables, and every table was full. We won't see all of those same people every day. Some of those people come there just because they know that there's food that day, but we do that so we can inform them that there's food every day. It may not be as good as today, but not every day is Thanksgiving, you know. But I get choked up seeing it. And in that same clip, you see us praying. We do that every day, every meal. Everybody rounded up, stop what you're doing, get together, hats off, hands up, and pray. Our pastor came later on that day, and he was talking about not just feeding your belly, but feeding your soul. And that's what we want to do, Joe. That's what we want to do.
So let's let me break this down. I want to bring this back to politics. Can I bring it back to politics?
Yeah.
Because this is the part we didn't get into. Like we know what the mission is. We know what you accomplished there. What do you think of Trump?
Me personally, can I give that? Can I give that right there? Can I get that on camera? Is that? I love Trump. You know.
Where's your thing, by the way? Where's your thing?
It's over here.
All right, can you just put it on the front of your shirt real quick?
I'm not good.
We
at
don't
this.
care what it looks like. We'll just no. Put it right here. Just put it right here.
Put it on the belly.
Yeah, let it sit there.
I got a shelf.
All right, there we go.
Put it on the shelf. Because he's doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what does that mean to you? I mean, let's look at it from the perspective of what is something. How do you see it different than Biden?
In my life, there's not a lot of things that I learned right the first time, but there was plenty of things that I did wrong, and I learned that this may not be the right way, but I know that that's the wrong way. And we get so caught up in just continuing to do something because that's the way it's been. The system has been, so this is the way that we're going to continue to do it. It's too much work to change, or it'll disrupt too many people's lives to make some kind of a change. But for something to change in our country, there has to be something dramatic done, right? And I think that along the way, if you're making dramatic changes, some of the changes that you make might not be the correct one, but you got to take that chance. You got to take that chance. You were when you were talking to your guest earlier, and you were talking about being a warrior, and the message was I'm gonna do something different. You don't like it, feel free. And when you see Trump move, when you hear Trump talk, that's the message that he gives you is, this is how we're gonna do it. You don't like it, feel free. Feel free not to like it. But we're trying something different. The people that he's trying to please, in my opinion, are us. And not
the deplorables.
The deplorables, yeah. We're the deplorables.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about Trump?
Trump's my dude. I was ignorant to politics up until Trump ran against Hillary. And I wish I was still ignorant to politics. I didn't have time for it in prison. It was just a thing. But once I saw that, I was fully committed to Trump and his team. He's not a politician. He says what he means. And if you don't like it, oh well, you know what I mean? That's what we're going to do. That's what America needs to do. Biden, Kamala, all that shit show, it is what it was. And now we got Trump. We're making strides, but we're only doing it as the Republican Party. Democrats aren't doing it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just cut, copy, paste, you know, and lie. We're not doing it. You're doing it, you know?
So, you know, what I always find interesting is that I was at a coffee shop this morning, and there's a black dude that was in front of me, and he was wearing a shirt, the grunt style shirt. And I'm wearing this hat, and I go, "Oh, you're one of those guys." I had to poke the bear, right?
Yeah.
I had to poke the bear. And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "You like that Trump guy." He goes, "I don't like Trump." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "No, I love Trump. I love Trump." And I was like, "Well, what do you think about the people around him?" He goes, "This is why I think that there's hope, but I'm tired of the going slow, right?" He goes, "I don't like Pam Bondi." I was like, "You're trying to tell me that you, as a black man, don't like Biden? Stop. You didn't vote for Kamala?" And he like shook. So I was playing him this entire time. Like I was all I was like, "Man, I'm embarrassed for you, man. I'm so embarrassed for you." And I did it with a straight face the entire time, right? And he goes, "Embarrassed? Why would you be embarrassed for me?" And I go, "Well, do you like," he goes, No. He goes, I don't think Pam Bondi's doing us right. He goes, "I don't think that Kash Patel is doing the right things." He went through the list, right? He's paying attention to this stuff. And I was like, "Okay, that checks." I said, "What about Bobby Kennedy?" He goes, "Man, that dude is on fire. Did you see him? Like, he's in the best shape. That's the guy you want running health." And he walked through all these different things. And I was like, "What do you do for a living?" He goes, "I'm a truck driver." And so I walked him outside and told him that I was a fan of President Trump. I never told him anything. I just exchanged information with him. I said, "Well, let's go get coffee and tell him when you're back in town." And I was like, "Oh, by the way, I got a podcast. You should listen to it." So, Ken, I know you're listening, or you were listening, because I saw you in one of the comments, but they're lying. You did 34 years, and you support President Trump. He's the people's candidate. I don't think the people around. I think he has a lot of Judases and Brutuses. But we're from all different walks of life, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Trump's my guy."
Mm-hmm. Not only is Trump my guy, in July, August, and September of this year, people that he put in place, decisions that he made, cost me about $350,000 and rising. There were we bill Medicaid for the services that we provide, and the reimbursement rates for Medicaid got cut in half. And my sister came in my office, and I'm drinking out of my coffee cup. I've got the Trumpinator on my desk, and she's like, I hate him, and I'm like, why are you saying that? And she was like, "Well, look what we're losing because of him." And I said, "We're not losing. We're not losing this because of him. Changes have to be made, and they're going to affect everybody, and there has to be dramatic changes for long-term solutions, and we're not looking for short-term solutions." If he wasn't doing the things that he's already been doing, we wouldn't have had the money to lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not only will we not have the money to lose, that money becomes an investment into our future. This change, you know what I mean? This change in our society, the change in the way the structure is. There had to be changes in many things, and especially those ones that affected us the most directly, these reimbursement rates, so something else could happen, right? We can preach until we're blue in the face that we're being responsible with what we're getting reimbursed from Medicaid, but not everybody was. Mm-hmm. So many people weren't. They were taking advantage of the system, so there had to be a change, so we're not just hemorrhaging money. If we're talking about this this small organization ran by ex-convicts, and in a couple of months we're losing that much money. Well, then we're talking about a tremendous amount of dollars that are funded by tax dollars that people across the nation in certain areas are taking advantage of, and there has to be a change so that's still available for anyone to have at all. You know,
Right.
it has to be a change, and so if it's necessary for me to take a financial blow to be able to enforce that change, well, then so be it, right? It has to be. It has to be, and I think that's one of the things is that I think that's a huge difference between, for me, you know, what you see between the left and the right is that there's this, you know, on the left, it's I expect everything, you'll make it happen, and then all you got to do is ask the question, well, where do you expect it to come from? Where do you want this to come from? And then when it does, when we produce a way for it to come, who all do you want us to give this to? And you expect this to last how long? You know, we have to implement changes in policy that are going to affect us long term, and make us to where we're more than just surviving. You know, and you can't just stand there with your hand out and say, well, I expect it to be in my hand, and then do nothing for it. Well, it's just not the way it works. It's just not the way it works. It can't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Shit in one hand and wish in the other, and see which one fills up first.
So how do you how do you square the narrative? I mean, obviously you have people. Do you think it's like a social contagion? Or do you have people that walk in like, oh, I hate Trump, I hate Trump, I hate Trump, and you try to have a conversation with them?
And they can't explain why they hate him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time. All the time.
I look at what they did in D.C., right? I grew up there. I mean, I was a hood rat for the better part of my early years, my formative years, right? And I see what they're doing right now with the National Guard being in D.C. and how there has been a murder now in like 65 days or something. Large time, right? It's a large amount of time. They're like, oh, it pushed it out of the city. Well, it didn't though. Crime rates in those areas did not go up. They were just people that started to act right because they were forced in that position where they had to act right. So, I mean, how many lives were saved as a result of doing this? But it wasn't popular to the outside world. It was only popular to the people who had to act like they were being held hostage. Most people don't understand what that means. I mean, in prison, you had places that you would be held hostage. Your earlier years in prison were much more difficult than your latter years.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Is that true?
For sure.
And because you had to learn the ropes, and you thought you had it all figured out.
I was a kid, and I was a teenager when I went to prison, and you grow up fast, or you don't, you know?
And don't means you leave this unalived.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Someone else comes another charge, and...
Yep. There's no half-stepping in prison. No half-assing anything.
Yeah.
Head on a swivel.
What I noticed, Joe, is that people get, I think people get indoctrinated into feeling like they're forced to pick a side and then be extreme on either one. And in my experience, and maybe it's because I'm a conservative, is that if I attempt to have a conversation about politics with someone on the left, you can't engage in that conversation because you can't have a conversation with yourself.
Right.
There's no facts that you can give them that they're going to debate with you. And I don't believe that that's the way that we should be as conservatives or liberals or white or black or Christian or Muslim or a human or a dog. I believe that if I'm this passionate about one subject and you are just as passionate about the opposite side of the same subject, then one, I want to listen to what you have to say. I want to understand what got you to being so passionate about something that I have such disdain for. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Why do you feel that way? Like I want to educate myself. Is there something that I missed? Because from everything that I saw here, my belief is this. And if you believe the complete and polar opposite and you're willing to die for that, well, then I want to hear what you have to say. You know what I mean? I want to have this discussion. You know, what harm is there going to be in me educating myself? Maybe there's something that I missed. And at the same time, that person should be doing the same thing. Why do you feel so passionately about this? Well, let me tell you. And then engage in a discussion. And our ability to be able to have that discussion is what's supposed to make us great. Our ability to disagree and then have a discussion.
So how did you find out you were conservative? What would you describe that as? Because this is antithetical to what people think. You see what I mean? You see the conversation we're having right now. They think conservative is this guy that sits in Highlands Ranch that goes to, sits in an accounting, deal. And I mean, you know what I mean? Am I asking the right question?
You are. So for me, it was whenever I realized that it wasn't just a desire to have structure and rules, and it was a necessity, right? You have to have those things to be able to move forward, to be better. I just don't feel that way about the liberal side of the aisle. I feel like the desire is for them to eliminate rules and eliminate structure, and I don't mean it to be in an overbearing manner, but we've got to protect this country. We've got to grow this country. We've got to grow this society. We've got to make this world a better place and not destroy it. And to be able to do that, there has to be rules, structure, policy, and those things have to be outlined in a manner that's going to be the best for the people that live in it. And there has to be, if we're talking about prison, kind of the underlining part of every rule in prison is consistency, and I don't believe that the left has that at all. Is any level of consistency. It's not mean what you say and say what you mean. It's not do what you say and say what you do. It's we can just say whatever we want and it doesn't matter anymore. I can say one thing and do another. I can believe one thing and do another. And if that's not the case, I mean, I can be whatever gender I want. I can be whatever. I ain't going to be a mammal anymore.
So you have values that you ascribe to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what about the people that say that your values weren't always that way? Trying to break paradigms, bro.
That's not an invalid statement, right? But
I sold drugs at 16.
Right.
I don't sell drugs now.
It's not that my values weren't always that way. I just didn't always have values.
You didn't ascribe to your values.
Right.
You knew right from wrong.
I knew right from wrong, but there wasn't something in that slot, right? There
vacuum.
Yeah. And so once something was entered in that slot, as I become a man and I develop, my character and my integrity and who I want to be and how I want my children to be raised, things go in that slot, to where before it was just glanced over. And so I'm an asshole and I'm a criminal and it doesn't matter what I say and there doesn't need to be any.
You don't count.
I don't count. There doesn't need to be any substance to me until I realize that there absolutely needs to be, and this is what I want that to be. And so something goes in that slot. There's a chapter in that book where there was no pages before. And there you go. Mix that with the ones where there were pages. And that might have been my belief then, but then I learned. You learn, right? You started in a diaper. Well, I didn't pee myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody used to have to give me a bottle. Now I feed myself. You learn. And that's the same thing about having a discussion with somebody, is that there's still plenty of things, a whole lot of everything. There's still everything that I have to learn. And how else am I going to do that besides life experience and having conversations with people that differ from my opinion? If I have a conversation with everyone that just agrees with everything that I say, what am I going to learn?
But you still have to deal with, and Jason, this is a question for you, because I think that you're new to the real world, right? You're a baby of the real world. You went in as a teenager, you came out as a teenager. You saw my thing upstairs.
Yeah.
Is that real?
For sure. Yeah. I was just talking about that the other day. When I went to prison, when I went to jail, I turned 18 in the county and turned 19 in prison. When I got out just 6 months ago, I was trying to pick up my life where I had left it off as a teenager. It don't work. But my problem was when these people, these Democrats, were trying to make me feel less than because I'm a convict, I'm an American, I'm heterosexual, I'm single, I'm white. You know what I mean? I don't count. But it's that constant, you don't matter because you're not one of us. You're here to do what we tell you. And if you don't like it, then who cares? That's what I like about Trump. If you don't like it, go. You can come back if you want to, but just go. Let us fix this country. Let us close the border like they did, and let us fix this country. Make your people count again. You know? Just because you're from a third world country and you want to come to America and make a better life for yourself, I'm for that. But you're not going to make me feel less than while you're doing it. You don't count any more than I do while you're doing it. But that seems like that's what it is today.
The closing the border thing is a huge deal. That's a big deal.
Do you think if people were walked up to you on the street, they'd think you were conservative? You think you'd be for Trump?
Yeah. I think so. I don't think that they would be just judging me based on my appearance, but that's kind of what's the stigma's become.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, the guy that was in the deal, I mean, most people wouldn't even recognize the grunt style on the shirt. I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to take a chance here. Oh, you're one of those guys.
Yeah.
I like having fun with people, but it was a great conversation to have, right? And then you find out that, and the more conversations I have, the more I feel like that we're not. That's why I know that the elections are fraudulent. Like, I know the elections are fraudulent because we have all this evidence. But more importantly than having the evidence, you can see it in societal norms. You can see it. If you go to Aurora, you go to Denver, it doesn't matter where you go. The crowd that says F Trump, case in point, 3 weeks ago, we're downtown. We just got done going to a game. I go over to 16th Street Mall, and there's a guy that's screaming, F Trump. There's like 4 or 5 other guys around him. So in normal fashion, I walk over and kind of want to say hi, right? It was busy because we just got to a ball arena. And I have a habit of doing this. I have a habit of just like, well, what's up? Hey, man, so what do you think of Trump? Right? And the guy's like, I don't get involved in politics. I was like, you like him, don't you? His buddy sitting over there, they're up to no good. I'm just telling you right now, they're up to no good. All 4 or 5 of them were up to no good. And I was like, you like him? And the other guy sitting over here said, yeah, he likes him. He's the only one that doesn't like him. These guys were sleeping on the street. And they all love Trump. How? Like, what is it about President Trump that brings so many people? They like to say that black people don't like Trump. They're working. They're working really hard.
Yeah.
They're working really hard to get people not to like President Trump. And they're saying it as if it's like a social contagion, right? That more people are going to be like, they don't like Trump, they don't like Trump, they're not going to like Trump.
Well, I think that
I have problems with these people like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. But
I think that's why they have to fix the elections is because so they have done a great job at the con about making you believe that
the con.
Yeah, if you like Trump, you're a racist piece of shit, right? And that's what and so they have more nationwide outlets that are going to scream that in your face all the time, and the more you hear it, the easier it is to hear. Whenever my girls were out here, right, and you were talking about the Hillary Trump campaign, which was, you could really see a huge division in the country while that was happening. Like that was a huge checkpoint right there. And I remember I'm on the phone with my daughters, and they're so young at that time. They're 10. And what they're used to seeing on the news is he's a bigot, and he's a sexist, and he's a misogynist, and he's a racist, and he's a thief, and he's broke, and it's just not true. And I'm on the phone with my daughters, and they're like, Dad, they're so little, they know nothing at all, Are you voting for Trump? And I said, absolutely. And they was like, I can't believe you're doing that. He hates women. And I'm like, where are you getting this? Mm-hmm. Like, where are you getting this? Like, where are you getting these pieces of information? And then it just spread from there. You can't turn anything on that's mainstream, right? CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, put a B in it, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Trash.
And all it is, that's their only content nowadays. You remember when there was other things on TV than somebody getting on there and saying, well, Trump was there and he's orange, isn't that funny? You know what I mean? You try to watch Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. Like, there's other stuff going on. You want to know why nobody watched that, but they have all these outlets, and so that's the narrative that they push. But what they've done now is that they've pushed that so much people got sick of hearing it. It's not funny. Mm-hmm. It's not true. But it's easy to disprove. So you can go out and see somebody that doesn't fit the typical mold of a Trump supporter, right? They say black people don't like Trump. I got 15 people that work for me that are black, super black, gold teeth black, right? I can say that because they're my friends.
And they're listening.
And they're listening. And they are Trump supporters. So people that traditionally weren't, that you would believe if you watch anything on television, no, those people hate Trump. No, they love him. Mm-hmm. And so because they've done that and they've shoved all this down your throat, now they got to come back and be like, well, all these people are voting for this guy and nobody's voting for us, so what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, just fudge the numbers. Mm-hmm. Click this, tap that, and here you go. And that's what we get. That's the move that they're on right now. And in this era that we live in, to be able to do that, I would assume it's probably pretty easy until you don't get away with it, until somebody speaks up. And then that's the other batch of people that love Trump is because people love him because it's like, even if I don't believe with what that guy's saying, he's speaking up. There's plenty of people that, if we're talking about prison, that, you know what, that dude, I don't like that guy, but that's the one. That guy means what he says what he means. That dude is absolutely about it. I don't mess with that dude. But that absolutely. And that's the kind of guy that Trump is. You know what I mean? He means what he says what he means, absolutely. And he's unapologetic about it. He's untamed.
He's untamed. Yeah, I like to say that. I've struggled with Con Inc., conservative Inc., people that say they're for you and I call them the first to the door, right? If it's popular, they're I believe this, and then you have the people that run cover for other people, and it's a very life's actually not that complicated. I just want you to know, doing the right thing is sometimes very difficult. It sucks. It's awful actually, and I think President Trump has mastered that. Like he can give it, you can go screaming, right. Kicking.
He embraces the suck.
He embraces the suck.
Absolutely.
Right? But the people around him don't have the same character and they don't have the same predisposition, right? And so you have some that are. I mean, Dan Scavino is one of those guys that really is just, he runs towards the fire, right? I know Roger Stone's not inside the administration, but I think he runs towards the fire. Susie Wiles, everyone hates that woman. I'm thinking to myself, first of all, she's a woman, first woman chief of staff ever, And I look at the things that President Trump is doing. I don't even agree with all of it. But you wouldn't agree with everything I said either, right? There's stuff that I'll say that you'll be like, well, that's retarded, right? Nobody believes that, and I'm like, oh, I believe that. You're like, okay. You're not gonna get pissed off at me and throw me off the building because of it. So there's all these extremes that we have inside of our culture now, right? That allow us to cater to the ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So we spend all day catering to the ridiculous, and then in the middle of all that, we have to pick a side. Oh, you're not for transgenders? You want to brutalize them? I'm thinking to myself, show me one person that is transgender that got brutalized, besides an Antifa that decided to throw a punch, and then he got his ass beat. Don't throw a punch. You don't want to get your ass beat. You don't want to be brutalized. Don't throw the punch, right? So, but they make up this narrative, and it puts us in limbo.
Mm-hmm.
And now my fear is we're a year in, right? We're just out a year since President Trump was given the green light.
Mm-hmm.
We only got 3 more years left, and there's no one coming after Trump.
That's what we were talking about the other day, is who's in that spot, who's going to take over there and from there and lead from there.
I mean, there's not enough courage amongst any of them, but the aspirations are there, but they don't want to put in the hard work.
And you have to. It has to be a continued mission, and that's one of the challenges that we're going to face in a couple of years, is because we started this snowball going, and it's a good one. But if somebody doesn't continue it and just caves, well then
it was a speed bump to tyranny of America.
Yep, it was all for naught.
And this is why I talk about Tina Peters. Tina Peters is a beautiful woman, 70 years old, in prison, 9.5 years for basically getting to the bottom of election fraud. And there's other people that have done it around the country, but in large part, she got the hammer.
Yeah.
And they continue to lie. There's nothing more. There's 2 sides of prison for her. The group of people in prison that respect her because she went all the way to the mat, and they know that she was fighting for even them. And the people that are jealous that she's in there because somewhere along the line, you got this dichotomy that's happening like this. That's their next victim because this is a person that.
It's a trophy.
Yeah. Once she turns 70, it actually changes it though, because if they put a hand on her, it becomes a crime.
Yeah. But the challenge is that's what somebody like that becomes in prison. Anybody famous, their crime is famous, they're a trophy. And there's plenty of people in there that hate crime or not, they just don't care.
Yeah.
It says a lot about you that you spend so much of your time, so much of your exposure, so much of your ability to be able to say, bring this person home. And I think that's indicative of what our country needs to be, as opposed to, because we get so short-sighted that it's, well, that's done, so let me just move on to the next one and not let me try to fix what's broke. But even during today, you were talking about it with the other gentleman that was on. You said her name a couple times here. Almost every time I see you, it's Tina Peters, Tina Peters, Tina Peters. Let's do something about this. Let's not just ignore it and in a couple of years she'll come home. Let's do something about it. Let's use what we have to be able to try to make a change to where it's not just, well, that one's gone, let them suffer. It's a big deal. And I agree with it. There's people that deserve to be in prison, but that's not one of them.
All right, so I have 2 things. I'm going to just tell you, and everybody's like, Joe, I don't know how you can be on both sides of the fence. You've been to prison, both been to prison, right?
Yeah.
You've straightened out your life, you found Jesus, you've gone through this, and you're just in the baby steps of all this right now, right? I mean, really, it's going to try you is most people that say that they're Christian and they end up stabbing you in the face, right? And it is a fear. Like if it's not a fear, it should be. If you've been in prison as long as you were in, I promise you it's a fear you have. Like, how do you react to that?
Do you want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Violently, you know? You only know one way, but you learn that there's other ways to deal with it, but...
What's the first instinct, though? It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not good.
So I'm going to tell you a story. And this is my learning, this is my teaching moment. Like Jason, you would give the shirt off your back to me.
Yeah.
No question. I know you would. I was driving down the road. It was 2007. I had just gone through a catastrophic business failure. Didn't want to get back in business. I was defrauded by a hedge fund, lost my development capital. I mean, I went from being worth 20 million to being worth 3 million in 18 months. Like I was the fool's gold, man. I was a fool and his money are soon parted. Now, you know me back then that I was moving and shaking and driving around in Lamborghinis and Porsches and you name it, I had it, right? I was playing fast and loose. Well, I also played fast and loose fighting. I've never seen a fight I didn't like. And I mean, I can fight. There's one thing my hands will show you. It is the scars of throwing people around, right? And I would get there quick. I would get there so quick. Like it did not take much to make me want to fight. My wife calls it the junk in the trunk, the fact that I just had all this fight or flight. So that reason how I came up with that model upstairs, I came up with that model because I lived it.
Right.
I knew Caitlin lived it. I was going to do whatever it took to take care of Caitlin, right? Because it's generational. And my kids never went through it. My wife, they never saw that part of me, except for when someone else did. I never picked a fight with anyone. But if you picked a fight with me, it was on. I was like, let's go. Driving down the street. This is how I know God is amazing. And I'm in my wife's van. It's a Honda Odyssey. It's 8 months old. And I cut this guy off. And I mean, look, I had to slow down to give him his headlights back because I literally cut him off, right? I mean, it was bad. And he's next to me and he's screaming at me. I mean, he's like MFing, blah, 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 and swerving into me. Sorry. And I don't know what happened to me. I said, I'm sorry. And I started smiling. Well, he thought smiling meant that I was ridiculing him. So I rolled down my window and I said, I'm sorry. I said it 4 times. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And on the 4th, I'm sorry. I'm like, look, I'm really sorry. And I'm driving down. We're on Parker Road. It's 50 miles an hour. We're doing like 25. People are stacking up behind us. Right? They can see something's not right. He's swerving into me. I'm like, and I didn't think it was funny at the time, but I wasn't angry anymore. And I said, hey, pull over. I want to buy you a coffee. We're negotiating as we drive down the street of what's going to happen next. Now, this guy wanted to beat my face in, right? So we went all the way up to where the Home Depot is in Parker. You know where it is, okay? So Home Depot in Parker, and there's a Starbucks that's right there across from it. Pull in there, drive in. I'm supposed to be somewhere, and I didn't have the time to be doing this. And this is like in my infancy of Jesus, right? Of really just following the Lord. And I went and said, let's go get a coffee. And he got out of the car, and he says, you're a bigger boy than I thought you were when you were in the car. I'm in a minivan, right? Who in a minivan is going to get a fight? Right? And so I go in, we get him something to drink. He gets coffee, I get a coffee. We sit down, and I asked a question that I would have never asked. I go, what's hurting you? After I apologized to him, I said, "What's hurting you?" And he just broke down. Turns out that he was the guy that in Castle Rock left. He was on call. I'm not going to call him out because he still lives here. And this is I haven't talked to him. I talked to him. Anyway, his son was playing and was sitting behind his car. And he got called into work, and so he drove the car away, never looking back, running over his son and killed his son in the driveway.
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine what that guy would have done. Imagine what that guy would have let me do on the side of the road to him. I could have thrown him around, beat the crap out of him, right? And he would have let me. So I can't believe we're live talking about this. I haven't talked about this in a long time. And so we went and had coffee all the time. I gave him a hug, told him I loved him, prayed for him. I was baby prayers too. Like I wasn't like, I was learning to pray, right? This is when my life changed. Like, you know, you can talk about what happened before that. It's great. I would help people, but I wasn't convicted until then, right? And so his marriage was in shambles. He was getting ready to lose his job. He killed his son, right? Imagine carrying all that, right? Your wife is, your whole world is falling apart. And not only did he save his marriage and save his job, but he had 2 more children. So I only say that because the same thing that you're going through, that anger, that thing you go through, and you've only lived the fight or flight life, right? There is no flight, so it's all fight, is the same thing they're feeling, but you have no idea what's behind that wall.
You're absolutely
You just know it'll feel good for you, it'll feel good for him, right?
We see it and feel it every day when we're at Silver Linings. We go out on outreach and we talk to these people, and you don't know what they're going to say. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
And you're met with a lot of anger and a lot of, you know, you're the reason why we're doing, you know what I mean? It's your fault. But sometimes you come across that person that just, you know, says what's in his heart or her heart, and they're just crying, and they don't even care about having no shoes on their feet.
Yeah.
They just care about a hug and someone to talk to.
Yeah.
They
want to be seen.
Yeah. They count.
Yeah.
They're people, you know? Yeah. And it's sad, it's heartbreaking. It's every day, it's a heartbreak. You can't work in this job and not get your heart broken at least once a day.
Yeah.
But then there's those moments where you're just like, I got this guy into a sober living or a house or a job or whatever. Got a family off the streets. Got this guy, his pregnant wife, and his 3 pissed off dogs. They're not living under the bridge anymore. You know what I mean? Whatever. It's just those moments are worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still got to guard your heart.
You do. You do. And I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard not to take stuff personal.
Oh, it's so hard. I don't take anything personal anymore, but it took a while. But that was a defining moment in my life, because now every time I get into a disagreement, no matter where I am, that's my philosophy. My philosophy is, now, if you come to my house to do harm, you try to hurt my family, I don't care how much junk you got in your trunk.
I'm trying to take your head off.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
I still take things real personal. They get to me. There was just on our 1-year anniversary, there was a situation that happened, and it was ironic because at the conclusion of that is whenever the pastor and his crew just pulled up to say, you know, we're here. But there was a guy, and his wife, girlfriend, whatever, came in, and he had put his hands on her. And during the event, like on the property. Man, I don't take that. I don't take that light. And there's been plenty of conversations that I have with my pastor, with Jason, with Mark, about Corey, you know, how do you get rid of that guy in there, right? Because so you imagine, you see, so I see Silver Linings as that's our home. I spend more time there than there is at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've put blood, sweat, and tears in there, and so has everybody else in this family. That's home. You know, so you can't come in my house and do those things. You gonna do that shit somewhere else, but you ain't doing that here. You know. And you know that's an upper echelon category. You put your hands on a woman that's a defenseless person while she's here trying to get help and celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my guys comes and gets me to apprise me of what was going on. He said, "I need you." So I go out there with him. Says that's the guy, and when I went up to him, it was, you know, what's going on? And my guy is hot. You know, so and so, your wife. He said her by name. Said you came in here, and he goes with the, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And it's clear that it had happened. He'd shoulder checked her. Got mad at what she was saying. Slams his shoulder into her. And in that moment, I'm not thinking about what this guy's going through, and that's what I need to be thinking about.
Right.
But that's not where it goes.
No,
you know,
it's not.
I'm
It goes
not.
to fight.
Yeah, I'm not that far in there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in my infancy. You know. So I tell him, you know, and in so many words, not so nice. You know, you're full of shit. That's exactly what happened. Now come over here to my other building, and let's go in the basement and have a conversation. And you know, it's not a choice for you to do that. So we get in the basement, and I know he's uncomfortable because now we're in a whole nother building and we're in the basement, and I got two of my guys with me, and Mark's on me as we're going over there. Adam, you know, Adam, and I'm calm, you know, but I've cut people's toes off, you know, having, you know, a calmer conversation than the one we're having right now. So we get him down there, and I said, you feel a little helpless right now, you know? He said, yeah. And I said, well, you know, that's how you made that woman feel helpless. You know, because you're bigger than her, because you're stronger than her, you felt like you could do anything. You know, how do you feel now? And the conversation went much further, and it got much deeper. And at the conclusion of it, he's thanking me and he's shaking my hand. You know, thank you for changing my perspective. And there were words in there that were intended to get him to do something. To make it clear, well, not to get him to do something, to make it clear that you can't do nothing.
Right.
You know, now you're in a place where you don't have choices. Mm-hmm. And the freedom of man can be dictated by the amount of choices that he has. It was to take something from him. The situation's resolved. He's thankful. He goes and enjoys the rest of the day. The woman had left. She comes back and enjoys later on. I've seen him every day since then. You know, he's in a much better place. But I realized as soon as it was over that just because that was the result, that my approach was incorrect.
Right.
We got the result that we wanted, but the approach put another piece of trauma in that person. It put another piece of trauma in me. You know,
we were just talking about trauma just now.
Yeah, and there's other traits that God has given me to be able to deal with that situation differently, but those aren't the ones that I used. I used those old traits because I know they work. Mm-hmm. I used the easy way. As opposed to being vulnerable and putting my heart out there, I put up a wall.
Right.
And used, you know, intimidation and fear of violence to be able to get the reaction that I wanted out of this person. Now, the reaction that I wanted out of this person was to change what they were doing this person, but I used the wrong traits, you know, and I'm early, and I'm learning, you know. But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You were saying, you know, what would you say to the people that said that that's not what your values always were? these are your values now. It's what they always were. And I'd say, you're right. Sometimes there just wasn't a value there, or the value that was there is not the one that I realized that I wanted to live by. And I'm still changing the things that are in there. I'm still changing the chapters that are in that book while I got the chance to be able to do it. You know what I mean? One of the greatest things that's God given me there, and he's given me a lot, is the wisdom to know that I'm wrong more than I'm right. Some of the challenges we face at SLR, you know?
Well, I think it's not just the challenges you face. It's how do we combine what they say they want to do in community, stop crime, give opportunity, all that stuff, all the deserts that you have in prison are the same ones you have in the inner city, right? Yeah. And frankly, let's just talk about it from a conservative standpoint. If we truly want to solve the problem, we can't solve it in a community where we don't actually understand the community. We can't. And the last 3 or 4 months, I've kind of gotten to that place where I go, all right, I need to understand. Actually, not the last few months. Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th of this year. Okay. And one of the things that was said is that he was the great debater, and he had the ability to understand both sides. So I've spent, since that day, I was like, you know what, maybe I need to do the same thing on politics. Maybe I need to get to know the left from their perspective. Like, what they're doing, the jelly bean test. If you have 100 jelly beans and one is a fentanyl that'll kill you, do you reach your hand in there and grab a jelly bean knowing that 1 out of the 100 can kill you? 99 out of 100 people will say, absolutely not. I'm not touching the jelly beans. You keep them, right? I said, you're not willing to take that risk. The same thing for when they snatch up illegals and they send them back to whatever country they came from, right? You grabbing up some good people, good jelly beans in there too. And some of those good jelly beans have to go through the process of being treated like criminals. Well, you're hanging out with a bunch of criminals, so you're gonna get snatched up. You are what you eat. You are what you hang around.
You're as sorry as the company you keep.
100%.
Yeah.
And so you walk through this process, and now I'm trying to understand, okay, what it is that they want me to feel bad for someone, okay. And so I'm starting to figure out that some of these people, even the ones that are indoctrinated, they truly want a society where people aren't treated unfairly, that there's no trauma. Well, we all know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Our human nature is to fight, right? We just dropped bombs on another country, and we're going to get to utopia here through communism? Come on now. But how do I understand it? How do I understand that side? And that's led me to, conversations about what I've had with you with recovery, conversations I've had with Pastor B about the Dream Center. So I'm having all these conversations, and then I figure out we're not all that different. Even the people at the other coffee shop that I sat down and he stood up and I was like, you believe that shit? He had Antifa on his shirt. I'm now having great conversations, right? He's like, yeah. He stood up like he was going to do something. I was like, you better sit down. You better sit down or this boot's going to get bigger. And so he sits down, we sit and talk for an hour and a half, right? I just think that right now we're being manipulated, and that whole thing comes down to like President Trump being seen. How do we do it? We got all this social media. Everyone's bad. How do we bridge that gap?
Being realistic. What you're saying right now is a realistic conversation, right? And no matter what side of the aisle, a lot of the conversations that people have are not as open as that one. Is that realistically we want the same thing that's best for everyone, but we have to be realistic about what that is and how we get there. And most people aren't willing to have that realistic conversation. They have their own trauma, and so they shut down. So they're not willing to have an open discussion about how we're going to realistically live and how we're realistically going to get there. And that's we're in reality. So that has to be our conduit, is reality. What can be done, what should be done, and are we going to do it? really. You know what I mean? I could go to Home Depot, buy a whole bunch of bricks, and build a pretty cool house, right? I could throw some bricks, right? But am I going to do it?
You could also throw them at people, and Antifa does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not living in reality, right?
Yeah.
And not there's so much evidence of that they want to change what reality is and then force me to believe it.
Yeah.
Force me to play this unrealistic game, and then now we've got to fight through that to get back to where we were, so we can move forward at all. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is that nobody really sets out their day.
Yeah.
Most crimes are committed because of what happened in the junk in the trunk.
No.
Right? There's very few crimes that are committed because they don't have something going on. Right? So I agree with the concept of how do you give opportunity? How do you create an opportunity where people can see and have opportunity, value, right? That they're valued. No, it's a different deal. All right, we're out of time. I've gone way too long, 5 o'clock. Holy cow. Cut this one up into part 1, part 2, okay? If you would. All right, thanks for coming out here, guys.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you very much. All right.
It's like in the interrogation room.
It really was.
It was?
Yeah. You're used to it. You're used to this.
Oh, the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras, 6 cameras.
All the lights.
All the lights.
Jason's waiting for the cops to come in.
Yeah.
It's a studio,
I need
bro.
to use the bathroom.
All right, use the bathroom. Make sure you take that thing off you though. Yeah, otherwise we'll hear you pee. I don't want to do that.
Right.
All right. I tell you what, we're gonna pray us out. This is a longer show, a little bit different stuff that happened, but all good stuff. All good stuff. Thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely. With the why, let me just tell you my why. Man, it's changing every day. Like there's a lot of guys out there who want to talk about politics all day. I don't actually want to do that, frankly. I want to get Tina Peters out. I want to get to the bottom of the election fraud. I want to make people seen. I want to do good. I don't want to feel good. I want to do good. But sometimes it's not gonna end well for me. Like I still got to deal with this bullshit with Dominion, and it's all a kabuki theater. And they know that I know the truth, and I just want them to be honest about it, but they can't. They can't be honest about it. It's like raping a woman and say you didn't rape him. Well, you stole elections, man. Just take responsibility for it, right? But don't go out there and try to cover it up and then use your CIA people to try and slander me as a person. Like I don't really care about you. I don't care about Coomer. I don't care about the Dominion. I care about the voice of the people. And that's the reason why they hate me more than anything in the world. So when I get on here and I talk about stuff, I just got, somebody just told me to take down a post and I was defending that person. And then he said, take it down. I was like, okay, I'll take it down. I didn't even ask a question. I just took it down. Because he's the one that I'm defending and he wants me to do it, I'll do it. But we have to get to a place where we can recognize that two things can be true at the same time. One, radical liberals are nuts. They're disillusioned. But I think a vast majority of people are actually good people. And I'm getting back to that place where I recognize that they're just good people. I mean, it's not, 2020 threw me for a loop because I had to go to battle mode. Now here we are 5 years later. People are actually inherently good. You have bad people that are selfish. You have narcissists. You got all these different people that have junk in their trunk. But a vast majority of people don't wake up one day and say, Black power because white people are bad. No, they had a bunch of experiences that disillusioned them. They got picked on when they were a kid. There's like all sorts of things that happened to them, right? That made them bite on to this nonsense from some professor that frankly is just retarded. So I'm not saying that there's going to be a kumbaya moment, because there won't be. But I do say that I want to have more conversations where we can get to a place where we can talk through it. Paradigms are crashing, paradigms are changing. We got to get past this whole deal where it's a zero-sum game. It's either 0 or 1. That's just not how life it is. People are more complicated than that. At the same time, we've got to throw out the trash. And Mark Levin is a trash. These guys are trash. Because he tells us that it's a zero-sum game. It's the same thing. You have to believe what I believe. I don't believe what you believe. Right? I think what you're saying is absolute horseshit. It's excusing the ability to genocide entire generation. You know what it is? It's walking people off a cliff and saying, if you don't do this, that's what leads to genocide. That's what leads to mass wars. So, I'm not about it. I'll call a bad person a bad person. Kardashian Patel, I hate what you did to the suspendables, because you showed that you had no loyalty to the very people that put you in that position. They got you there. And then you lied about not knowing Stu Peters. Instead of just coming out and say, yeah, I know Stu Peters, been on the show many times, right? I think he probably talks flamboyantly. Be honest. Be honest. Yeah, he had a big show. I went on it, told him about what my platform was. What is you? I'm an Indian dude. Well, he doesn't like Jews. Okay, he doesn't like Jews. I don't think he doesn't like all Jews. He just doesn't like those Jews. You can't be honest. You can't even answer honestly because you're afraid of what they'll turn it into. Who the hell cares? Be authentic and see what happens. If our society was more authentic, we'd be in a lot better position. A lot better position. So they can't eat you. I tell everyone this when they get nervous. I'm like, there's 2 things that they have to be able to do that makes me want to pause. And I say they can't do these things. So if they can't do these things, I'm good. I've been saying this for at least 25 years. They can't eat me, and they can't take away my birthday. So when they take away my birthday, it doesn't matter to me. I'm dead. I mean, that basically means I'm dead. They killed me. All right, I'm dead. And it doesn't matter. I'll be with Jesus anyway. And they can't eat me. So unless they get out a knife and a fork and start cutting off pieces of my leg, I'm good. So they don't like you. So what? You act like it's the end of the world. Oh my gosh, I might not get this. We live our lives in a place where we make sacrifices, we make compromises because we're afraid of people's feelings or how they may make our feelings feel. It's just stupid. So anyway, we'll talk more about that. All right, let's pray. Father God, thank you for the opportunity we had today with Antoine, with Adam, with Jason. Thank you for just the ability to go three hours and talk about just crazy stuff and really just get to the bottom of the human condition. I'm not sure that I set out this week to have some of the conversations that we've had. And frankly, it wasn't deliberate, Father, so I'll just thank you for letting me have them. That conversation I had with Antoine was just fire. And it showed me the passion that I do have, and frankly, the way that I feel about people that are just continents away. Father, we give it up to you right now and just ask you to free Tina Peters. It's obvious that it's going to take some intervention. It's going to take your intervention to get this done. And we've had them glad hand us for so long. They've said, oh, it's happening. We feel like we're just in this yo-yo. And in the middle of all that, Tina Peters is actually suffering, someone that has sacrificed much for the greater good of our nation and for its people. Father, I ask you to bless Tina, that she may have the burdens lifted off of her and that she may be safe. I ask you to protect her, Father. I also ask you to protect President Trump and to guide him and to give him the tools that are necessary. I ask you to put a comforting arm around Bobby Kennedy and just the people that work with President Trump so closely in restoring order in a place where the entire government feels at odds and at war with itself. Help us, Father, that we may be patient, but we also may hold them accountable. And Father, we're grateful for just the blessings you put in our lives, and we just ask you to guide us in a way that would honor you. I say these things humbly in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Rise up untamed. In the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong.